Is that all right?
Hello, everybody. This is the O.P.O.V podcast.
You're good.
Hey.
Today we have a special guest joining us, Mr.
Did she freeze or she playing with us?
No,
What
you
happened?
But it's cool. Introduce yourself, sir.
All right, everybody. My name is Keith Phillips. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to speak and express myself. I do have a Facebook page, Why Black Men Don't Date. I also have a podcast on YouTube, Why Black Men Don't Date. And it's basically relationship stuff. I'm happy to be able to come onto your podcast and, vent a little bit about current events, right? So I definitely, thanks for the invite. Let's ready to talk.
Thank you, Keith, for coming on.
Thanks. I'm happy to have you.
Appreciate it.
All right. So what's cracking, guys? What we want to get into first? Do we want to talk about the Super Bowl
it's almost like
halftime
when
show?
you know how you get that one person, that's just waiting for you to say, "How you doing?" They be like, "How you doing?" You be like, "Yeah, good morning. How you doing?" They be like, "Well." Yeah, you know what I mean?
So, do y'all want to talk about the halftime show, the Super Bowl? Do y'all want to talk about the Super Bowl first? Did everybody watch?
I watched.
I
I
watched.
watched. It was a good game. Like the playoffs were good games. The Super Bowl didn't disappoint in the game. It came down to the last, like the playoff games did. So I wasn't disappointed.
I was kind of disappointed in the game itself, but the halftime definitely I like
Made up for it.
Yeah, the coaching decisions by the Bengals, I was kind of upset at down the stretch. Like for them not to double Cooper Cup on that last drive, for Joe Mixon not to be in the game on that last drive was kind of blundering. But I mean, again, I'm not a coach, so there might have been some things going on the sideline that I don't know about. But the halftime show, that's probably one of the better halftime shows I've seen, period, in any sport. So you ain't like it?
I'm gonna tell you why. Well, no. I'm gonna tell you why. So in my travels, I used to promote clubs. I used to have a recording studio, so I kind of look at stuff a little bit differently. And I had said this to somebody, and they said, "Well, it's always like that." But I didn't think it was fair the way the stage was set up. Okay, because it was almost like they were performing to one part of the stadium. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, like, if I would have been on the other side of the field, I wouldn't have seen anything. I mean, I'd have had to look up on the screens, but like even the way the stage was set up, like it was almost like their back was to one whole half of the stadium.
That's not always is, though.
You see what I'm saying? And like I was like, just if I was down there, I would be kind of mad if I was like a Mary J. Blige fan or something like that, and I couldn't see her. I had to look on the big screen. You know what I mean? It was almost like they were, I don't know if it was the home team or the away team. I don't know, but they were like just performing to one side.
But you're nitpicking because they do that every time. Like,
Yeah, that's what someone said.
What was wrong? What was wrong with it other than that?
Well,
For you to give it a side though, there gotta be more wrong.
all right, so I'm 52.
Yeah.
I'm hip hop all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. Right? Like people would say, well, you don't know. Like I'll tell you what was that song? Permission. It was like this slow song, Permission, that I just got down with. I'm like, oh, that's hot. They're like, that's old. But I don't listen to that. You know what I mean? So I'm not like a Mary J. Blige fan or nothing. I wish she would have danced more because she can dance. I like when she did that Mary J. Blige kick. You know what I'm saying? Like
She did do that. She did it a little bit. She kicked it at the beginning.
So I think Kendrick Lamar was the best.
He was. Hands down.
Yeah.
He was.
I just thought that Snoop could have sang some, like, first of all, how's Dr. Dre gonna try to do that thing? That's that one jam without Tupac. You can't do songs.
California Love.
Listen, I Maybe that's why I was doing some other shit. You
A
cannot
lot of people were.
Tupac.
I feel like people missed what was going on.
I talked to him because I
Uh,
might have missed it.
they performed the songs that he produced.
Well, it's funny.
That's why Mary J performed the songs that she did. That's why Eminem did the songs that he did. That's why 50 did the song that he did, and Snoop did what he did, because those were all songs that Dre produced.
So it's funny you said that. It's funny you said that. So you know that a local guy really produced those songs. You know,
Who's Sam
Melman produced
Snead?
those songs, right? And I know how the
Oh,
business
the mailman. Oh, okay. Well,
absolutely, and I know how the business goes, and I get that, but I mean, I don't know. I think even like Eminem, like I think the best performance I've seen Eminem do, and I'm not this big Eminem fan, but remember when at the award show when he did the real Slim Shady, and all those white dudes came in with blonde hair into that arena or whatever it was, they filled it up. Like that was dope. Like I ain't seen them do a performance better than that, like in forever.
it was a halftime show though. Like it was only a couple of. They did a couple of lines from. I don't like the way my. Do I sound muffled to you guys?
No, you
I
sound
hear
fine,
an echo from you.
Kenya.
Okay. So yeah, I think that it was good for the time that they were given, and the songs that they performed were like okay. Like
What's up?
those were songs that quote unquote Dre produced.
Are you
What's
guys hearing an echo from her?
It, I hear the echo myself,
Okay.
and
I
I
mean,
don't know
it
why.
was cool. It was cool. I mean,
Um,
I probably would have rather seen Janice Titty out or something like that, but I mean, it was cool.
and let's also because you said something about Kendrick Lamar, and I wanted to say about Kendrick Lamar, he was the youngest one on stage.
Yeah,
Dr. Dre was the oldest one. He was 56 years old.
yeah.
You got 50 who's 46. You got Mary J who's 51. Snoop is 49, and Eminem is 40 something. So I feel like it was excellent for those guys' ages.
I think yeah. Actually, you know what? And I gotta give it to you if you're gonna put that mix, if you're gonna put the age in the mix, because it was crazy. Like I didn't was Dr. Dre in some type of accident or something, or had a heart attack or something, or
He had a stroke.
Yeah.
yeah, because he was kind of limber the way he was moving.
He had a stroke.
Yeah, you could tell something had happened to him. He was kind of moving. He wasn't really all that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I guess it was okay. I guess maybe because the way they advertised it and blew it up, that I thought it was gonna be like more.
Did
I
they
feel
blow it up
I
like
kind of
that,
feel
or
that way
did the
too.
internet blow it up like that?
I kind of feel that way too. I thought Mary J. Blige looked amazing. However, I didn't really care for her song choices.
It was
Yeah,
the Dr. Dre songs though.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dre got
Definitely
songs
makes
Yeah,
sense.
they
like
were
Dr. Dre
produced.
songs.
The halftime
So
show
I
was
think that's maybe
ultimately
that's why I
about
felt like
him,
Kendrick Lamar
It
was
was
and
better.
Dr. Dre and
so
Friends.
yeah, it made sense to me.
And he had the most energy to me too.
Who?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
he
it's
was.
it's like Kenya said. It's like Kenya said. All those other dudes, they get ready to get what's that called? SSI or something. You know what I'm
AARP
saying?
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
ARP.
yes.
Yeah, so
That's why Mary fell out like she did. I seen a couple of memes about Mary J. My cousin was tired. She was tired. So she laid out because that was all that was left that she had. So
right.
she had to lay out. I wasn't
She
mad
gave
at
all
her.
she had to give,
Absolutely. I wasn't mad at her.
but
I
she
really
looks like
liked the
And
she
performance.
and
always
and
looks good.
Dr. Dre, he was just happy he made it all the way through.
Yeah,
He made it all the way through.
I was nervous for him because he was moving like he had some kind of issue.
I
You
like
know
the
what I mean?
performance. I like when Eminem took a knee too. It's real
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I think a lot of people miss that.
I missed it at first, but the internet caught it super fast.
A
They
lot
catch
of people miss
everything.
that. Mm-hmm.
They catch everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
well, shout out to Aaron Donald and
Wait,
the
time out. Before we move on, do we want to address the elephant in the room about how everybody's fat shaming 50 and he's not really fat?
ah
Why you keep saying he's not really fat then?
He's not. Listen, I caught like a replay of I guess it was when like Dr. Dre was performing initially, and you could see underneath the stage where 50 was getting up there to like get upside down. I was like, ain't no way somebody who's like legit fat could have got up there that fast. He went up there, boom, 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 and just like it was like within seconds. Like 50 is in good shape.
But he used to be in better shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also in his 20s, like at that time.
No, he might have been in better shape last year.
I mean, I feel like that's a little. I feel like this is a little bit of male hate. I don't know. Like, what's going on here? Like,
Listen.
I'm just saying. Like,
what I see. I mean,
I'm a big guy, right? So listen, I'm happy he was able to hang upside down because I was on a vertical board the other day hanging upside down for like 15 seconds, and I was like, my man, you gotta lift me up. Like, I'm not feeling this. You know
and
what I mean?
nobody's fat hanging upside down. Like, let's be real. So nobody that's fat is hanging upside down.
He could be he chunky.
Right. But
Okay.
I don't even want to say chunky. I feel like chunky.
No, I'm not saying that.
He got a little thick.
No, that's more than a little thickness.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing wrong with it.
That's crazy.
Listen, I ain't no skinny dude, so I'm definitely not shaming him. But
yeah, he might be happy. That's his happy weight. Ain't nothing wrong
listen,
with it.
that's that Hollywood weight. That's that Hollywood money weight.
He got a girl now too, so you know.
Absolutely.
His girl is banging.
It was just crazy to me that
like 25.
It was crazy to me that like I was in some groups and they were making jokes, you know what I mean? Oh, 50 cents is now $1. 50 cents now $1.25, this, that, and the other. And every's an absolute. Every comment that I read, and I probably read like 50 comments, were making fun of him. So I said, oh, that's funny. But when you call Lizzo unhealthy,
she's I don't care what nobody's saying. I ain't
fat shaming.
She got to be unhealthy.
Unhealthy is fat shaming. That's a double standard, man. And that's a problem that we have in our culture and probably across the board, but we're gonna talk about our culture. It's a double standard. It's like, you know, I'm a firm believer what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times in our society, especially the way things are moving now, where women are starting to take, like black women are starting to take over, it's like, man, like I just didn't get that. Like there was not one person in that group that was like, hey, that's fat shaming, or oh, don't do that.
But can you
joke to add to it? You know what I'm saying?
Is it easier to make jokes on somebody who really ate that fat, like somebody like 50 Cent, like he's just a little bigger than what he's normally been? Like if somebody made fun of like Ruben Studdard, then we would then they would probably come to his defense because he's like really fat. You know what I mean? So it might be a little bit of both sides. Because I think
50 Cent is not fat. Like he's just not fat. Like I don't know why he's saying that. He is not fat.
I can guarantee you, if we pulled out that chart that the white man made, he's obese.
They say I'm fucking fat on that shit, and we know that's bullshit. Like we know that. Like we ain't going.
I mean, I'm obese on that one too, but
yeah, like everybody's obese now, unless you're 120 pounds. Like no, he's not fat.
Yeah, in order for me to be not obese, I think the ideal weight it says for me is 135 pounds.
I was thinking all the jokes was pretty corny though. It was like.
And they was saying, 50, because he do come at people or whatever. So he was taking it with a grain of salt, or he was laughing at himself, and all of those things. But like people literally was really serious. And I seen a couple people that was like taking it too far, and see whenever they can't get a reaction out of that, they start saying like other little things like, okay, he was squished up in the face, hanging upside down on monkey bars, but he got down and he spit every word. He wasn't winded, and he put on a good performance of a classic song. Quit hating.
She gonna stick up for 50. Y'all go ahead, Kate.
50, Kanye West, Antonio Brown. Like I'm here for all of that. Because it's really a shame that people like really will put somebody in a box. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Who
now
put
that they're
50 in the
saying
box?
that shit they're gonna run with that. They're gonna ride with that.
Now, I can say that as of the last week, though, Kanye's social media behavior has been questionable.
No,
Like,
it's
rocking
been
with him, but I'm like,
hilarious.
dude, you are doing way too much. Like, you need to calm
He's funny
down.
to me. It's been funny to me.
Why do he need to calm down though?
Did we see the same social media post?
What about him with the truck pulling up with the roses and stuff?
I mean, I thought that was beautiful, but like he's had something every day. Like he even posted him and Kim's text conversations,
He
and it's just
apologized
like,
for that.
okay, Kanye, like
He apologized for that.
he did. So I'm hoping that we see better behavior moving forward. But he was like a wreck the past week.
I mean, I defend the good because I know he does some bullshit, but ultimately the argument that I'll have with anybody is that those men aren't crazy, in my opinion.
Not at all. Not at all. Kenya, I'm with you. Like, so I like Kanye West. I like his creativity. I like his music. And if you really, really want to understand Kanye West, you got to watch a lot of his interviews with other people.
Yeah.
And I try to watch them all to get a better understanding. And I get it. You know, he said it one time in an interview, like when he wants to have these conversations, and it was referring to something that happened on stage and Jay-Z or something like that. When he wants to have these conversations with people, they don't want to have the conversations with him, right? But then when he does something extreme, because that's how he is, then all of a sudden he's crazy or they want to talk to him now. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta think of any top entertainer, black entertainer, that's really, really trying to do something for black people, it's Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West is on that. He has like some crazy amount of acreage out in Wyoming, I think, where he's trying to build a community and schools and this and other for black people. Like, I think Kanye West's thing is he's a genius. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Or he could have some form of undiagnosed autism, because you know some of those people are extremely smart. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So here's my thing about autism too, though, right? I think these people are so far when it comes to mental, they are so far above us that not take an autistic person that doesn't like to talk to people because they can't communicate with us. They can't communicate in a way that we'll understand them, and they get frustrated and they shut down. I think Kanye West's whole thing was he was a kid prodigy. He was sheltered from the world. Okay, when he was he graduated from some prestigious music school in Chicago or something like that. But
yes,
I think he was sheltered.
His mom was she wasn't a physical doctor, but she still had her doctorate, and she was very smart. So she wanted the best for her son.
Right. So he was sheltered all his life, right? So when he got with Kim Kardashian and the world was opened up to him, he went crazy. And I know the feeling. All right.
I feel like he was opened up to the world before then. I just feel like he was always misunderstood. See, I'm a Kanye West fan too. Everybody think, you know, there's two reasons why I named my son Kanye, because I have a Kanye.
Okay.
One is, and y'all could check the receipts. I've always been a fan of Kanye. I just didn't know who he was at the time because he was always making dope beats to music that I listened to. So if you go in the credits, you will see who produced the song. It will always be Kanye West. So he was doing that for like a year or two before he made it on the cover. I want to say maybe like a year, 18 months. He made it on the cover of the Source magazine. And we were avid buyers of the Source magazine, collectors. I still have 2 boxes of Source magazine downstairs in my basement. He was on the cover of the Source magazine, and his name was across the top. Now his name is my name with just the 2 letters switched up. So I said to my husband, whatever this is, however you say this shit, This is my son's name. Because I've always been a fan. So I was able to put a face and pronunciation to the name that I already knew from listening to him.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So I've always been a fan, and I feel like that's why I have like I don't want to say like a connection, but that's what it is for me with Kanye. So that's why I say, like, when I defend, like, I hate that they put him in that box because he had things happen in his life. Like right now, like one of my friends had made a post saying about the things that he lost, and he's losing his family now, and people are clowning him for, you know, doing these things for Kim or whatever. Whatever happened, because I was pissed at Kim a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or whatever. I probably still am. But that is that man and his family. Like, he has children to her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what we might look at it on the outside looking in, that's that man's real life. Like, that's his real life.
But it's like you got to consider the source, right? Because if I was, what is he worth? $1.7 billion?
He's worth a lot of money. I don't know the numbers.
I don't think he sent enough roses to her. If he's worth $1.7 billion, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
he
he
says that he's worth 10.
Yeah, billion with a B, not million.
The internet says he's worth like 1.8 billion, but he says he's worth 10 billion.
His companies is probably worth 10.
Yes.
Like
I mean,
he got his hand in a little bit of everything. That can't be crazy.
No,
I mean, his money is making money. His money is going to be making money. Like, how can I be crazy?
And there aren't but so many people at that level. So
exactly,
you know,
especially from where he came from, where he started at. Like, you know, he started out making beats.
You have to just like alone see that he's going to be a man on an island just because.
Right.
What's the definition of crazy?
Not a whole lot of people who can even relate to you. You know.
Whenever that Source magazine came out, he was telling the world that he was about to dive into the rapping industry because he was only known for making beats. They thought he was crazy then, like, oh, you should just stick to making beats. Like, rapping ain't your lane. Like, stick to making beats. He got hits.
He got hits, but he also got definition of crazy. I'm not gonna like.
What?
You don't have that.
What you say, Jess?
I said he got hits, but he also has a lot of ghostwriters too. I'm not gonna act like he don't have that.
Everybody do. I feel like. I mean, we could maybe count on our hand who don't, but for the most part, yeah.
I always say when people say Kanye West is crazy, you can't be crazy and ink a $1.8 million deal with Adidas. You can't be crazy.
I look at it as society's definition of crazy is not
conforming.
Not being on with the norm. He goes against the grain.
Yeah.
And that's like with everybody. If you don't do what society think is normal, they're going to label you as crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, like look at what I mean, and I really don't want to go down this route, but just for example's sake, look at what they is trying to do to Joe Rogan as far as the vaccines and him having them doctors on. Like,
yeah, it's not what we were conditioned to think.
Yeah, you're not going along with
the grain.
You're not falling in line.
Yes.
So
we're supposed to be sheep. America is supposed to be one way and one way only. As soon as
Jessica, you trying to get me worked up.
No, we ain't going down that line. That road, you can't hear where we going down that road.
No, we're gonna keep it moving. Like, as a matter of fact,
even Kanye running for president, he might not have did it at the right time, but
I was voting for him.
He might not have did it at the right time, but he
I was voting for him.
Got a good thing as far as trying to help the homeless out and you know, like good ideas that could be put in place if they was wrote up by the right people.
I think it's like you said, the only reason why he's crazy is because he's not doing what the norm does. That's all. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that title is going to stop him from doing political things and this and that and the other. You know what I mean? But he has enough influence, enough power, and enough money to do his own thing. I'm telling you, like he he has something crazy like 17,000 acres, some crazy acreage out in I think it's Wyoming. And he's building a city for black people.
Well,
Michael Jordan ain't doing that. Oprah ain't doing that. Jay-Z ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Tyler Perry got studios. He got his own little shit down there in Atlanta. Tyler Perry. I'm just joking. That was a little bit sarcastic.
Tyler Perry ain't doing that. He's still running around with a dress on. Oh, my fault.
But Tyler Perry isn't he the first black studio owner?
He is.
So
he is.
That's something to be said.
Yeah.
All the people you named are doing things for black people. They might not just be doing it to that magnitude, like you said, building a whole city for black people. That's something that'll be historic. If it comes through.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not an Oprah Winfrey fan, and I ain't gonna hate on her. But build some schools over here. You build schools in Africa. We need schools here. The kids here. Listen, I didn't even know it was like this. Like, you don't get pencils and paper and stuff like that free in school no more. You gotta bring your own. You build schools over in Africa, but the kids here can't eat. They don't even got books. I was never an Oprah Winfrey fan. I always thought she played on people's dreams and hopes. That's what I always thought. You get a car. You get a car. I'm gonna give you the shoes off my feet. Yeah, you want to write that shit off on your taxes. Shut up.
I was about to say, business-wise, it probably gotta make sense business-wise for her.
Right.
All right. Well, we're not gonna make this into an Oprah bash.
No, we are not talking about Oprah. We ain't talking about Oprah.
My bad. 50 cents fat. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we want to get into our next topic, which is there in the Olympics a doping double standard? So we found out today that there is an Olympic figure skater. She's 15 years old and she's Russian. She they found performance enhancing drugs in her system.
Two of them.
She's claiming that it must have got into her system because she shared a glass of water with her grandfather, and supposedly this same the drug that was found in her system is also used as some sort of heart medication, or can be used as some sort of heart medication. And we find out that Sha'Carri Richardson is calling foul, saying that they feel like she was suspended because she's black, but they're giving this white 15-year-old figure skater a pass and still allowing her to compete, although she won't be eligible to get her medals until the investigation is completed. They're still allowing her to compete.
She shouldn't even be allowed.
What do you guys think?
That's not even fair to the other skaters. I've been on go on this topic all day. I'm sorry for jumping in like this, guys.
Okay.
This shit really is under my skin. Although she is 15 years old, we know that these 15-year-olds aren't the average 15-year-old. Okay, so her grandfather had this medication plus another, because she had two in her system, but the other one wasn't contraband, just the one, because it did give you stamina. It was a topical cream or something, because how else does that work? You share the glass or whatever. Ain't nobody trying to, like,
it was bullcrap.
It's bullcrap. But for me, I'm assuming, and like we all do, and when I assume shit, it really makes sense to me. So we're not dealing with your average 15-year-old. I'm sure she knew that this heart medication what entailed in this heart medication. I ultimately think that if she thought that if she used this, they wouldn't be able to detect it, because of the form of medication that it was. I'm not ingesting it. I'm not injecting it if I just rub it in on me. Like, they're not going to be able to, detect that or whatever. Let's just say that scenario. If that wasn't the scenario, her trainers knew about the contraband. Regardless of what, there was contraband. It was not allowed. And for that reason alone, she should be held accountable, and so should her trainers. They should be held accountable because even allowing her to continue to perform is not fair to the other skaters.
No, it's
Because
not.
she was already coming out to be number one and to win it all. So how is that fair to the other ladies that she's skating with?
It's not fair to any
Sha'Carri
of the.
Richards,
It's not only unfair to the other skaters, but it's unfair to the other athletes.
absolutely. And Sha'Carri Richardson smoked weed, which we know is not enhancing her ability to run in any way. If anything, it was harming it. She took accountability for that shit, even though when she smoked it, it was legal where she was at. Like, you know what I'm saying? She took accountability. She ate that shit. I'm gonna just say that she ate that.
But you know
But
what?
then,
I believe that was the problem.
This little white girl that's Russian, and she still gets to go. Tell me that it's not a double standard.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe it's a double standard. All right. So I think how the Russian girl is skating by is because it's basically an arbitration. All right. And even though it doesn't happen to black people, a lot of times you're innocent until proven guilty. And that would make more sense to the reason why they're allowing her to perform, but she can't get her medal until after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So even if she wins, right, and it comes back and she's guilty, they're gonna strip her of her title or whatever, and then it'll go down the line. Now what
so to me,
the problem with our girl
what you're
is
saying is
the fact that she just came out and was like, "Yeah, I smoked it." No, you're supposed to deny that shit. Like, what hood did
that's
you
what I was getting ready to say to you. So what you're saying is it would have been more beneficial for Sha'Carri Richardson to lie and say she was running past somebody who was smoking some weed. She didn't actually smoke it. Like,
it would have been, listen, it would have been beneficial for her not to smoke it at all, right? For her not to smoke it at all. You know what I mean? It's amazing how
it was weed. Her mom did that. Like,
so it's amazing how her team. Now, listen, I'm from both sides of the tracks, right? And I know of stuff that is guaranteed to get that out of your system. Guaranteed. I got friends that have used it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't her team like, listen, you're hot, you need to drink this and drink a gallon of water. You know what I'm saying? And get that out of your system because the rules are the rules. You know what I'm saying?
I think that whenever they do those testing, I'm sure they're random. I'm sure they're not like, oh, you know, Thursday the 23rd you're going in to be tested, because if they did that, then people could prepare for that. It's probably like you show up for practice or you show up for training. Oh, by the way, you got to go piss, because that's usually how they do drug tests. Because I've been random drug tests. Okay, so I do know how that works. The double standard comes in where the rules apply to Sha'Carri, and those same set of rules didn't apply to this Russian girl because she's 15. That's what they kept saying, because she was 15 years old, so she was protected under certain rules and law. That's a double standard. And it's not fair.
But I mean, if they have the rules and laws that she's protected under, it kind of ain't a double standard. You know what I'm saying? That's just like when Sha'Carri got banned, there was a white chick that got banned too. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was a white American that got banned. I think she was American that got banned. I think she did something like she ate poppy seeds or something like that. But it was crazy because they were like, "Oh, Shakira's not allowed to run." I'm like, "But wait a minute." They kicked that girl out of the Olympics, banned her from the next Olympics, took this off of her, and took that off of her. You know what I'm saying? And she was white. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a double standard. If the girl is skating because she's getting past these laws, you can't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? You got to change the law.
I get that part too, but why those laws or rules are still in place, I feel like everybody needs to abide by those rules. Her still being allowed to skate, and she was found positive. She shouldn't have been allowed to skate at all. It's not fair to nobody, no matter how you look at it.
She shouldn't have been allowed to skate.
Like, she should have been strict, and if she's 15, hold the trainers accountable for her, because they know better. They know better. They know what she's allowed to take and what she's not allowed to take.
Rayford, can you even what you saying they know better? That's probably why they try to slip her through, because when they know, being that they know better, they probably know the loophole in the law.
But guess what else? I believe she knows too, because you are a world-class athlete. You're not somebody who's just a walk-on on a high school team or something like that. You are a world-class athlete. You can't tell me even at 15 years old, she was ignorant to this.
But you know what? But the thing about that is, so they're not performing for Russia or something like that. They're performing for somebody else because Russia got banned from the Olympics because they had a statewide doping program. So it was just normal. You know what I mean? So I don't even think they're like really performing for Russia. It's like
she's Russian, and it has something to do with Russia and their committee, their Olympic committee over there versus the Olympic committee over here, and this rule, that rule. Contraband is contraband. Contraband is contraband. You're not allowed to do it. You shouldn't be allowed to perform. And then figure it out. Oh, well, if she wins gold, she's gonna be stripped of those, and then it's gonna be like, how does that work? Because I don't want to get my shit after the fact. I don't want to get my shit after the fact. I want to know that I won gold right then and there. Don't strip her gold and be like, here goes you was the second person. You got silver. Here's the gold medal. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, she shouldn't be allowed to perform.
They do it all the time. But
double standard. It's a double standard, and it was weed. Fuck that shit. That shit is legal just about every fucking where, and it's not enhancing her running ability.
But it ain't legal in the Olympics.
Not outside the United States.
I know the Olympics is its own entity, so I
understand that. I understand that. And at the time that she smoked she was in training or whatever. So yeah, I get that. But again, her mom died. She hit the blunt.
Kenya, don't go there. Don't do that. No, that ain't no reason to hit the blunt.
She said that. She took accountability for that. But all I was saying was I wasn't mad at her about doing it. Like, yeah, she was wrong for doing it. She took accountability. That was my whole point in saying that. She took accountability. She told the truth and she stood in what the fuck she did. I was never mad at that girl, regardless. Like, I wasn't mad at her.
I wasn't mad at her either.
But
I also see why she got suspended. She definitely should have been. And so should this Russian girl.
I ain't mad at her. I'm just with the thing that's going on now. I'm not sure if it's a double standard or not. I just think the girl and her team, you know, and the federation or whatever they belong to, they're trying to skate through. They know how to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? When you know what's in that, when you know what's in the hand, you know how to play the cards.
Especially if you got the right skin color, you can maneuver all the fuck over this match.
No, but what I look at it more like, it might not even be a racism thing. A lot of other countries don't like the United States though either. So give them a reason to ban somebody from the U.S. They'll do it. Russia, you know what I mean? Russia, like you said, they already got a doping scandal going on. So it's pretty much they're going to deny it till you find out what's really going on. And I hate to say it, I like that you don't let her skate until you find out if it's really. I like that. I like innocent until proven guilty. I actually like that. But again, it's a double standard to where I don't think it's racist. I think it's more something against the United States.
So basically, Sha'Carri should not have admitted it.
Time out though. She's already guilty. Like what part of that don't y'all understand? She was already found with it in her system. They're only waiting for arbitration to see if that's going to stand. She's already guilty of that. She got caught with the shit in her system. The test didn't lie.
So what if it don't stand?
It didn't stand because she was able to fight through the paperwork, the prints. That's what's going to make her win. Not the fact that she's going to get over on the drug test. She's guilty of that.
Well, kudos to her team for fighting it.
That's what I said. Whenever you got the
Kudos
right
to her
skin
total
color,
success.
you could maneuver and do all types of shit. Like,
I can't.
like,
Nah.
Well, I
People,
think
some
in this
people
case,
just know how
after
to get
everything
over.
that we're saying, maybe Shakari being forthcoming about it, that was, I admire her for being forthcoming, but maybe it was to her disadvantage because she probably still would have been able to compete if she would have fought it.
Yeah.
And see, the only reason why I stay away from the double standard is because when that same year, when that white chick, she had poppy seeds or something like that, and they took her through the ringer. They like banned her from the Olympics completely, banned her from the next Olympics completely, took this off her. She can't do that. She can't compete there. Like they hit her hard, and she was white.
Yeah.
You know what I
They
mean?
don't like cheaters, period.
bro, that little 15-year-old girl is a cheater.
Yeah,
She ain't a cheater because
listen.
she's 15. Like, kids cheat too.
Oh yeah. It's the
Shit.
Olympics. It's the Olympics.
They definitely do.
Yeah. Like,
But
so she ain't a
again,
cheater
even if
because,
it ain't her,
okay,
her team.
if she can't be held accountable, hold somebody in her camp accountable for that shit. Somebody needs to be held accountable for that shit.
The whole
Or
team.
it's gonna be looked at however anybody looks at that shit because it's not right. It don't make no sense.
Well, shout out to Shakari for calling it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
And
glad she
shout
called it
out
out.
to what's the skater's name? What's her name?
The speed skater.
The speed skater. Right? That's what you're talking about? The black
Yes,
speed
that's what I'm
skater?
talking about. Why can't I remember her name? Erin
What's her last name?
Johnson, I think. Fuck.
That's the skater. That's the skater that the white girl gave her position up so she can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Y'all know. I had it.
Yeah, salute to her.
Oh no, is Kenya frozen?
No, I think Kenya went to go do her Googles.
Uh,
I don't know. Now she upside down.
Double standard though. Double standard. Tell me, I'm with you. I don't know if it's a double standard as much as it is. They just know how to maneuver.
Yeah, they know how to maneuver because they've been through it. How many?
Sorry. I
They
had to
got the
look up
right-
her name. Erin
they-
Jackson.
Jackson, okay.
Erin Jackson. Shout out to her.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
Speaking
double
of the
standard,
Olympics.
Kenya.
all right, so guys, do you guys want to move on to the main topic here for today?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so I wanted to address this topic because I feel like it's a topic that is taboo within the Black community. One of my Facebook friends, shout out to Shakes Leonard, he wrote a post that was very triggering for me. I have the post here. I would like to read it to you guys. There's some profanity in it. I would like to try to maneuver around it as much as I can so that you guys, get the gist of it. But what the post says is, I think a lot of you who think you had an active father would be surprised at the sex your mother had to give up so that he showed up to your dance recital and track meets. A lot of times when men say, I tried to be around for y'all, but your mother wouldn't let me, what they mean is that she wouldn't let him come over and get his peen sucked in exchange for his presence. Mothers do this every single day for their kids. I'm telling you, a lot who ended up with an active dad who didn't has to do with this. Some of you had a dad that wasn't there for you, but he was there for some kids he had with another woman. That's because she was giving it up and your mother wasn't. So he was there for those kids and not you. And a lot of times those women are pressured into giving it up because they've already seen how he did you and your mother, and she doesn't want that for her children. And if it costs her a little bit of PUSSY, she's willing to pay the price. This is the ugly side of the Black community that very few people talk about. Pimp culture is popular in our community for a reason.
I don't think that. I think that could be raceless. Like I think that might do with a lot of. It might do with white people too. But
like men in general.
Yeah, just men in general. But shout out to whoever wrote that post. That's something that's not talked about a lot, but he does, or he or she does have a good point right there.
But the only reason why I feel like I disagree with you is because, like, statistically, in the Black community, it's like 70 to 80% of our children are being brought up in single parent homes, and it's not the same for white people. So,
but I'm saying I know white people that go through that same. I'm not saying that the percentages are the same, but I do know white families that go through that same thing to where the dad is a jerk to the family because the mom ain't giving him no play.
Well,
so let me ask this question to the women. Like, so I got two girls. I got a 28-year-old and a, don't you judge me, and a 9-year-old, right? But those are my daughters. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of the relationship that I have with their mother, which is, we have great relationships. And I think it's because I don't want them and they don't want me. You know what I mean? I just take care of my daughters. You know what I'm saying? But I do have female friends that go through that. You know what I'm saying? And my question is, and I guess this is to ladies, you know what I mean? Me and my man, we ain't gonna know this. So when a woman, okay, so a woman has a deadbeat a child's father, right? I'm not even gonna get into the telltale signs from the beginning. You know what I mean? That maybe the woman overlooked because she was so caught up in the relationship, right? But if I talk about some of the relationships that I've been in, the situations I've been in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I definitely vibe with what the dude's saying and understand that. You know what I'm saying? But, and you ladies will have to tell me because I'm not a lady, but I always figure a parent's job, especially the mother, is to protect their child against anybody that's going to do them harm. So if you got this guy that's only around, and I've dated women like this, that are only around for access to the mother, like, when do you cut them off? And when do you allow the guy that you're dating, right, to step in and be that positive male role model that your kid needs? Because I'm definitely an advocate of all kids need both parents. And if they can't have both parents, they need a positive male role model and a positive female role model for balance. You know what I mean? We're hunters, we're gatherers, we're aggressive, we're the disciplinary. The woman is the nurturer. You know what I'm saying? So when as a woman, when do you decide that enough is enough? I know this dude is only around because I'm letting him hit. You know what I'm saying? I need to protect the well-being of my son or my daughter and not allow her to go through this mental abuse and just cut him off.
Well, for me, if I'm gonna just be candid, my daughter was 2. She was 2.
2 years.
Like this post definitely embodies my experience because there was a point where I came to a realization that if I was not sleeping with him, he would not see her that much. And guess what? When I made the decision for myself to stop dealing with him, that's exactly what happened. Once I stopped dealing with him on that level, the times he's seen her was few and far between.
That's sad.
It is, but that's the reality of it. And I'm not even going because I told y'all this post was triggering for me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, nothing. That's my experience. And
it's hard from the guy's point of view, the outsider. I'm an outsider. I'm like, and just a relationship right off the bat, I'm like, you know what? Your son's father got too much access for me. What you mean? I said, I can guarantee you that dude is only in your son's life because he thinks he got a chance with you. Well, it ain't nah, maybe it is something. Maybe the fact that he's allowed to come to your house. Oh, he's bringing my son some wings and a pizza. Wait, how about if he come get your son? Ooh, almost said. How about
Yeah.
you come get his son and take him to one of his practices that he's supposed to go to? You know what I'm saying? But when they go, oh, she gonna get me. When they go to the practice, right? She takes them to the practice, and the dad shows up at the practice too. Wait, this is COVID. They don't both go in while the son's practicing. Let him come get his son and take his son to practice if he really wants to be with his son. No,
He wants to be with you. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be with
you. You know what I mean? So, long story short, I end up falling all the way back because I'm like, listen, if I'm the new man in your relationship, you ain't been with this dude since your son was young. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming second to that dude. If I say I'm coming over your house and you tell me, well, won't you wait till after my son dropped off? And I'm like, already like, oh, she must be trying to have me for dude. But why? You claim you don't want him. You claim he don't want you. Like, why? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? And I've walked away from a lot of relationships because the woman has given the guy too much access for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was never in that situation where, oh, my dad wants to see, you know, I mean, or my son or my daughter misses their father, and so I'm gonna have to do this and do that so he'll be around. Like, fuck that. Forget him.
Well, you know what? I can
Forget
say,
him.
like, the beautiful thing about your kids getting older, kids are smart.
They
So
are.
for me, I'm just removing myself because the bottom line is it gets to an age where she's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She can now hold you accountable herself. So if you didn't do what you said you was gonna do, she'll ask me, this is something that happened. Well, why didn't my dad do X, Y, and Z? I don't know. Ask him.
I dated a girl one time,
make
right?
up excuses for you. I'm not here to have these hard conversations for you. She's gonna hold you accountable, and you're gonna have to tell her.
I was dating this one girl. I got into a conversation. I got into an argument with her. I'll tell you what happened. So I said, listen, we got to leave at 4 o'clock to get where we're going by 5. She's like, okay, my daughter's father's coming to get her right around 4. So we'll be good. It's 4:15. We still waiting for him to get there. You know what I'm saying? And like I told her, you know what I mean? After he came, now we late. We running late. You know what I'm saying? And like I told her in the car, I said, listen, you're going to have to figure that out. Because the next time we're due to be somewhere at a certain time, if he don't come get his daughter's coming with us. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to keep being late and adjusting my schedule to deal with your kid's father. I'm just not. I'm not coming second to some other dude. You know what I'm saying?
She got to be a better
his daughter. He won his daughter. He better be on time to pick her up when she going with me. It's just like that. And y'all got to deal with that. She got to defending him. I said, listen to me. You're my woman, and I'm sitting here arguing with you, and you defending your daughter's father. This conversation's over. No. I said, let me tell you something. This conversation's over. I'm gonna take your fucking ass back home and drop you off the curb. You know what I'm saying? No, but we Tukey, put the turn signal on, took her back. Like, get the fuck out of my car. On some real shit. Because if you're my woman, why am I arguing with you about another man? No, you're not gonna slight me for your kid's father, who's a part-time dude. He's a part-time father. And I guess I get so bent out of shape and adamant because I raised my first daughter. Not on my own, nothing like that. But her mother allowed me to raise her. So she was with me everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I instilled the values with her. You know what I'm saying? I had her work in the cleaning business when she was 13. I taught her how to do this, her homework, this, study. I was at the basketball practices. I bought a Suburban for cheerleading. So I could take her on her group. I was there. I was the only parent on PTO. You know what I mean? So when a dude falls short of his responsibilities, that shit gets under my skin for real.
Yeah, but especially if you're falling short because their mother won't sleep with you no more.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
that is usually how it goes. That's just I mean, we can only speak from the mom and the female perspective. You guys can speak for the male perspective of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I already had 2 children coming into a relationship that's current right now. My husband already had 2 kids before him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we were so young, and he's younger than I am. So I already had 2 kids coming into a relationship, but at the age that he did, he stepped in and stepped completely up because he didn't have to do that because I already had 2 kids. Now my older 2 kids, father was always in and out of jail, so he never was consistent in their life for a long extended period of time where they could remember. When they were younger, yeah, but like as they got older in those years, he wasn't. There was when he did come home, he did do things with the kids, but it was to a certain extent on the fact of the conversation that I might have had with him, or you know what I'm saying, me him making a promise or me making a promise, and or just a conversation or whatever for him to do what he needed to do for them. If say I said, oh yeah, I'll be out Friday, like yeah, we can link Friday, Monday through Thursday, this nigga is doing this nigga is doing that, he's showing up or whatever. Friday come, I play him. Like I don't show up because I gotta do, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to get my kids shit, which I shouldn't even have to be doing because these are your kids. Like you just missed a couple of years of their life. Then it stopped. Then it became a little some little vindictive shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? All because you didn't have access to me because I was already with someone. When it shouldn't have even been like that. So I know there's a lot of females, more than probably we could even name or think of, that goes through that type of situation, especially if they got another. Now, my husband, he doesn't have children to no one else. Thank God, because I don't know if I would be able to deal with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it was like you said, he still wanting her or her still wanting him. If those dynamics are in there, it's always going to be a fucking problem. It's always going to be a problem. But if you can co-parent without anything being attached, do that. That's the best thing. The last couple of months of my kid's life, I was holding their father accountable for the things that he said that he was going to do. You need to do you need to do this. You need to be here. You need to do this. He said he didn't have time and was killed, so he really didn't have time. But it hurt my kids because he made those promises and he was saying these things, and when all he had to do was just show up. Like, he didn't have to buy, even though he did. All they wanted was the time because they missed out on so much time. Like, and at that time, my kids were old enough to verbalize to him. Like you said, Jessica, once they get to a certain age, they can verbalize to the dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they were at that age where they were verbal with him, and he said he didn't have time, and he really did.
So Kenya, let me ask you this, because I dated a girl and this was a problem too, and it used to piss me off because I didn't understand. So what this woman would do. Now, remember, I said our job is to protect our kids against anything that's out there to hurt them, right? Remember, I said that.
Right.
So he would promise to come get his 2 sons, and the one was a daddy's boy all the way, even though the dad was a half-ass dad. He's still a daddy's boy, right?
Right.
So he would promise to come get them at 6 o'clock today. It's 9 o'clock. They sitting on the couch with their clothes, with their jackets and their book bags waiting to come. He don't come. Like, how many times are you gonna allow your kid's father to disappoint your kids before you cut him off?
That's what I'm saying.
You set him up for failure. Like, cut him off.
Everybody's situation is different, but I'm sure that females do get to a point where they like, this is not working, this is not healthy. Kids do get older, so you can't keep you know what I'm saying, playing that game where as though like you making excuses for this man, like, you know what I mean? So there comes a time when, you know, that happens. Unfortunately for me, you know what I'm saying, my kids older, my two older kids, their father died. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was killed. So the whole dynamics changed for that. But for as their stepdaddy, when I say he stepped in, he stepped all the way in. The relationship was um in his beginning stages at the times when he came home from jail. So um he allowed me to figure that out. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was trying to figure that out the best way that I could without sleeping with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make the promises, had the conversations, like, you know what I'm saying? Just so I could get him to do, you know what I mean? So it's definitely real. My kids didn't I ain't gonna say I'm gonna take that back because um I do know what it's like to lose a father, like, you know what I'm saying, and if they had a stepfather, but I know that nobody can fill the shoes of their real dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that they had. That's a loss for them. So they'll tell you, like, you know, they miss him or whatever. But for as like the support, being there, learning how to ride a bike, learning how to tie shoes, first game, graduation, my husband's been there. So like he's been there. We 25 years in.
So you know what? So, and I always say this all the time. So your husband is a good dad.
He's a good dad. He's a
Feel
good
me?
father to the children that we have, and he's a good dad to the two that's not his.
He's a good dad. See, I had a conversation with a couple guys before. I'm a good dad. I'm a good dad. I said, there ain't no such animal as a fucking good dad, man. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm a good dad. You ain't gonna tell me I ain't no good dad. I said, you name one thing that you do for your son that's so spectacular. Not only will I give you a good dad title, but I give you $500. Or I take him to football. I take him to football practice. You're supposed to do that. That's your
Right,
son. Oh, I help him with his homework. You're supposed to do that. You're a son.
right.
You know what I'm saying? People don't run around. I know people don't say, Ken, you a good mom. Jessica, you a good mom. So it's understood that if the men might be good or might not be good. I tell people all the time, I say, you're a good dad. I'm not a good dad. I used to get offended at first. You know what I'm saying? But then I just said, listen, I'm just a responsible parent. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to do those are my responsibilities. Now,
Right.
here's a good dad. Your husband's a good dad because he took on the responsibility of somebody else.
He's a great man,
You know what I'm
actually,
saying?
because he didn't have to step in when he did. At the
Exactly.
age that we were, he didn't have to do none of those things. He stepped in and stepped up, and he's always been there and consistently and still is. So he's great at what the fuck he do. Like, I don't
Right.
know what anybody else do, but that dad shit, that father shit, he got that on lock.
Now let
And
me
that
just jump
and
in
I
here
take
real
my
quick.
hat off to him. I say it all the time because my I got a boy. He has 3 step kids, and he raised them like they're his kids. I say, ooh, I'm gonna say the boy's name. I'm like, dude is a good dad because he took on a responsibility to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And his step kids, their dad is still around. Just a piece of shit. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
sad.
But my man, I'm trying to say his name. No, you don't have to do that. Those
Right.
aren't the kids. You don't have to do that. But you stepped up and played that dad. That's why I consider you a good dad. I'm not a good dad. I'm just a responsible parent and do what I'm supposed to do and take care of my responsibility. That's all I do.
Right.
You know what I'm
Now
saying?
let me jump in here and bring it back to this post real quick, because I think that the saddest thing is that there are a lot of women who feel like they have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That is just heartbreaking to me. And one thing that angers me is, like, how could you be such a despicable human being that you would require their mother to still sleep with you in order for you to be an active parent in her life? Like, that's despicable. It's despicable. It's low down. It's dirty. dirty.
So,
I
so
want to
this,
hear what Tavi. I want to hear what Tavi has to say. Tavi, you've been very, very quiet, and I know you're a good dad. We use great father. Like I know you are. So, like,
You talk,
what are your
you
thoughts
talking
on
about
that?
on the post? You
Huh?
talking about the
Yeah, I'm
post
talking
or
about because we're specifically talking about this post.
That
What
post.
are your thoughts on this post?
I mean, I look at it like um it could be a condition that a lot of people, a lot of males, they're not mature enough to figure out. You know what I mean? A lot of males still are on that selfish phase to where they want their cake and eat it too. And that's probably the reason why they're not with the mom to begin with, because
Mm-hmm.
they probably was cheating on her to begin with because they wanted to have their cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's the woman's duty to value herself more in those type of vulnerable stages. Like, even if you're vulnerable and you looking for love, you know what type of man that is at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to be nights where you're going to be lonely, and there's going to be nights that you want somebody to stay the night with you, but you gotta have the discipline enough not to let him back in your life, because he's not mature enough to understand. I always say this: most of the time, when the male matures, it's when he's down and out, and he's down to the lowest point, and he has to figure out he needs to mature to do better in life. But before he hits that phase, if he keeps getting his way, he's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And
That's
honestly,
that's a really good point, Tavi.
he's gonna keep doing it, and it's abuse. Ultimately, it's abuse of the mother and the children.
It is.
Emotional abuse.
It is.
It's emotional. It's mental. Yeah. Yes. For sure.
Yes.
For
And a
sure.
lot of
But
times, women will
I
do
know you
anything
said
for their
something about the
child.
woman being having enough confidence to like just not do it. But mothers, we will die for our kids.
And that's what I
So
was
if
about to
in
say.
your heart that if I quit sleeping with this man, he's not really going to be around. While I did not do that, I could understand why somebody would make that choice.
And sometimes a woman, especially if she's single, if she doesn't already have another male in her life, a woman likes to have, even if it's temporary, she likes the idea of a complete family. So
Yes.
he might wake up in the morning, cook breakfast for you and the kids, but then he might be out in the nighttime. He might go party or something, and then go back to doing what he was doing before, and you might not see him for a month or so. But for that little bit of time when y'all was that complete family, it might feel good to her. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's up to the males to mature, and it's up to the woman to know that temporary fulfillment is on. It's not going to do nothing but hurt the kid.
right,
yeah.
right, right.
Doing a disservice to the kids.
And
I feel like hopefully it won't take the female, whoever is in that predicament currently, long to get out. Because like you said, Jess, like, sometimes they might be feeling like they're not worthy, or you know what I'm saying, like they got to just do this because it's for the in their mind at that moment, it's for the betterment of the kids or whatever. So
that's how fights start too. A lot of look, you can't keep messing with a woman's emotions.
absolutely. Shout out to the strong moms who's thugging it out, riding it out with their kids, and not going through that type of bullshit. It's
and shout out to the
definitely
males that can mature fast enough to know to take care of their kids.
to take care of their responsibilities, because that's what it is.
But I think as women, I know that Kenya, you and I.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, Jess, you froze again. I wanted to hear what she had to say too.
And for ourselves.
Jess, what did you say? You froze.
Oh man, I had trouble with my internet connection. Sorry. I was saying, you know, you and I have had multiple conversations offline. And I think one of the things that we talked about a while ago was if women collectively set a standard for themselves that we're not going to put up with that type of behavior, then men will follow suit.
But there might have been, it could be hard too, because it could be like something that was like the mom might have went through it, their mom might have went through it. You know what I mean? It might have been something that they were seeing.
Might have been systematic. Right.
Down the line. It's hard when you're dealing like, and like you said, the racial thing that you was talking about, it happens so much in the Black community that it could be very hereditary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do they call it? What is that? A generational curse when it's passed down like that? You know what I'm saying? Like through the family or whatever. I know that Jessica's child is going to hold whoever she encounters to a higher standard on the simple fact of because I know who Jess is, and I know what she's raising and how she's raising her daughter to be. So like I feel like that's good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta stand at some point, or just keep falling into the bullshit. So I feel like only the person itself, their self, knows when enough is enough, or when I'm gonna stand here and not take this shit or whatever. So Tav, I know you're present in your children's lives. So and there's a quite a few females who don't allow that. What if it's the dad who wants to not, he just wants to take care of his kid, but the mom might be like, oh, well, you can't come see her or him if you won't do, you know what I'm saying? Because we have a lot of that shit too that we don't talk about either. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that shit.
Yeah. And I was blessed, like Keith was saying, I was blessed to have good co-parenting, as far as where the mother moved on, they're doing whatever they're doing, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and we're able to just come together for the kids. But I definitely see where the mother will hold that, like they might not be over the dad, and they might hold the kid above the dad's head too.
As leverage or pawn.
Yeah, so that right there. Again, if you can't figure it out, it's going to be becoming more than just sex. You're going to fighting. It's going to get bad.
I think Kenya said it earlier. I think that there's always problems when one person wants the other person. I think that's when there's always an issue, and then the kids, unfortunately, are stuck in the mix. You know what I mean? I know a girl right now. I know a girl right now who is going through this crazy custody battle, and she's a whole ass married, and she keeps acting like it's dude. But I know people that know her personally, and they're like, no, it's her. Even though she's married, she's whole ass married, got a whole husband, right? But she still wants her daughter's father, so she gives him the blues. I'll give you a prime example. Oh, so-and-so came to the house, and we got him on camera. No, let me back up a little bit. So she was living on the north side, and she ended up buying a house somewhere, right? So she's like, oh, so-and-so comes over to get his daughter, and it's always a problem. This kind of other. And I said, well, how does he even know where you live at? How does he know where you and your husband live at? Oh, because the court said he had to come to the house to pick her up. Oh, so now 1 + 1 is 4. Absolutely not. You had the say to that. You understand what I'm saying? Because you could have dropped them off at the police. You could drop your daughter off at the police station. You know what I'm saying? Or over your mom's house or something like that. You allow him to know where you live at because you want to be connected to him. And you're using the daughter's leverage. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Because who suffers the most is the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's who suffers the most. To see that constant bickering, that negative energy. You know what I'm saying? That it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
But even the story you told about the you got to leave by 4 to be where you got at by 5. Why are you going to have the dad come over at 4 o'clock? Like, you got to be a better planner than that. Like, why not pick the kid up at 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's that's.
I'm so glad I ain't never. In the beginning, I'm not glad that their father's not here or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like we would have worked it out because we were so young. But like now, we would have had it figured out by now because it was on that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? But what I am glad about is that I don't have to deal with that on the back end. Whereas that my husband has kids, and we have to deal with a situation that's always. There's conflict and stuff like that because that shit ain't cool.
There gotta be some type
and you know
of,
what else? Just to piggyback off of what you said, like even though I put my story out there, people who know me are gonna know who I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I feel like things are cool between me and my child's father. They're only cool because I came to terms with what the situation was. I set a boundary for myself. I stuck to that. And I'll let him know, hey, that's between you and your daughter. She will be holding you accountable herself. So we don't have argumentative conversations or nothing like that because I know who you are. I've been who you are. I've come to terms with it, and I'm living my life.
Right. Period. The end.
Yeah.
So that was a little that was deep.
Yeah, I like the that post.
I feel like everybody who has children and they're not together with the father, they definitely got a few stories to tell for sure.
Definitely. Does anybody have any final thoughts for today?
Final thoughts. 50 cents back. No, I'm teasing.
Don't get Kenya started. Talk about the
oh my goodness.
The boxes of sushi got 50 cent on down in the basement. I ain't messing with Kenya and their people and their hip hop people.
I know, because I be in these social media streets and I be in comments and on different pages and stuff. And if I'm a fan, because I'm a fan, like you know what I'm saying? I get a little riled up sometimes. Huh?
You be like, you better leave my boy alone.
Yeah, I get a little riled up sometimes. Y'all know how I am.
I think Kanye West is brilliant. I don't think he's crazy. I just think he's misunderstood. Like I said, I suggest people who think he's crazy, like, do your own research. Yeah, but you know how black people are.
But even
like do your own research. You know what I mean?
I look at it like everybody. Who was it? Laura Ingraham that told LeBron to shut up and dribble.
I don't know, some white lady.
But I look at we always expect entertainers to be entertainers and
they're people.
Yeah, they're people. Like even with Antonio Brown, they want to make it the football is the only thing he thinks about. Like he got a life outside of football. Like so if he don't want to make football everything, he doesn't have to make football everything. But now he's crazy if he don't want to play football. You know what I mean?
Or he don't fit into your standard, whatever that is. Like
because he ain't doing the norm. The same thing with Kanye. He ain't doing the norm. Now, I will say this, though, Jessica, what you was talking about Kanye, I feel like other than when it comes to his family, he needs to keep that, like, off the social media. But other than that, I think his posts be hilarious.
I do too. I'm not going to lie, I do too. But...
like when he pulled up to McDonald's in his truck.
That was a commercial, though.
Oh, was it?
That was a Super Bowl
commercial. I just seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, that was funny though.
And you know they had to pay for those 30-second slots for a commercial during the Super Bowl.
Something crazy. All right, no.
What, 30 million?
I mean, upwards.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. You know, but the one thing, he's smart because he stays relevant. Like him, love him, hate him, he's gonna stay relevant. Period.
Every single day.
He is. And honestly, I'm looking forward to Dawn the 2 coming out on February 22nd.
Now, I don't think it's gonna come out that day, but
he's sticking to it.
We'll see.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Keith, thank you so much again for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was fun.
For anybody who is able to watch this, make sure you check Keith out. Keith, do you want to tell them about where they can check you out at again?
We're on YouTube. Why Black Men Don't Date. You can also join, and you join it too. Join the Facebook group. Why Black Men Don't Date. It's all about Black relations. That's what we talk about. We talk about those hard conversations. You know, those conversations that, Ken, you're married. Those conversations you might not want to have with your husband. You know what I mean? You can send them to us. We can put them out there. You can be like, hey, babe, what you think about this? What you think about that? You know what I mean? Those conversations that we don't want to have, that we need to have to build a stronger community.
Yes. Well,
Amen. And these are conversations that we need to continue to have. I'm all for us communicating with each other.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Thank you so much, Keith. Love you guys. Thank you all so much for being a part of the O.P.O.V podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, send us emails, messages on whatever platform you're watching us on. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Peace out.
Deuce.
Peace.